Hello and welcome to Mindful Measures channel. I'm Josh Friedenberg. Thank you for stopping by. We often romanticize this time of year with notions of true love. We hold some fantasy in our minds that our soulmate is out there somewhere. Some of us have been fortunate enough to find our soulmates, and to that lucky portion of society, nothing further needs to be taught save that we should always aspire to let that person know how deeply you care for them. But for those of you who will be out there looking for that special someone to share this Valentine's Day with, I offer these humble words of advice. First of which, we must be able to love ourselves before we can love another person. Consider self-love as the training course to finding a soulmate. Until we can love ourselves, it's going to be difficult for us to allow others to love us. Have you ever been in a relationship with someone that you thought was wonderful, and yet you constantly found yourself sabotaging the relationship? Somewhere in your being, you had a difficult time allowing yourself to be rewarded with the love from another person. We must first find the means to accept ourselves for who we are, even with our imperfections. And perhaps we should realize that our soulmate is not going to be perfect neither. So, if our soulmate's not perfect, it would be unfair for us to expect ourselves to be. Which brings me to the next point. Don't expect your soulmate to be perfect. Very few of us are secure enough to allow ourselves to be in a relationship with someone who's perfect anyhow. We're unable to allow ourselves to connect intimately with an ascended master. And besides, these people rarely have a desire for romantic relations anyways, so that's really out of the question. We know that being flawed is part of human existence. The trick is to be honest with yourself regarding which kinds of flaws you're willing to live with and which flaws are definitely a deal breaker. Also, keep in mind that every flaw comes in varying degrees. Some you may be willing to accept, while other more extreme versions of that flaw you may not be willing to accept. For instance, we all enjoy a good-looking partner who has confidence in his or her appearance. But do we really want someone who's so obsessed with the way that they look that they spend 3 hours every day preening? Perhaps that wouldn't even bother you, as long as they don't insist that you do the same thing. Now, I'm not saying that either of these attributes are flaws, but to some people, they may find that trait annoying. So whatever your level of tolerance is, you've got to be honest with yourself. Otherwise, you're only setting yourself up to get into a relationship that's eventually going to fall apart. Now, we should also be aware that many of the positive traits that we look for in other people quite often carry with them a corresponding less desirable trait. I can't tell you how many women I've counseled over the years that claim to want a man with a strong build. But then, when they find one, they're always complaining because he's spending so much time in the gym or playing basketball with his friends, or he always stands in the mirror and flexes, looks at himself. Or how many men tell me that they want a woman who's gorgeous, and yet they're annoyed with the amount of time that she spends getting ready in the morning, or they get insanely jealous whenever other guys look at her. Very often these traits that we're looking for in our mates are a reflection of some need that we cloak deep within ourselves. And if we can get to the root of that need, sometimes we can alter our desire to find that in a mate. We are then free to avoid any of these less desirable consequences. I hope you've all found this short webisode helpful and have a happy Valentine's Day. For Mindful Measures, thank you very much, and please feel free to join us on Facebook or subscribe to us on YouTube or check us out on Twitter and Blogspot. Thank you very much and have a great day.